Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 39. Robert Venditti writing, Rafa Sandoval on the art. Something Zod's happening. I'm not reading this. It's you two that's reading this, so by all
Oh yeah.
means, take it
So
away.
so to get us caught up, the Green Lanterns they get a distress signal kind of from this planet. So Hal and Kyle go down there, and while they're off there, John's talking to the Guardians, and the Guardians basically want their old role back. And his whole thing is like, look, we didn't go through all of this mess with you guys to redo the status quo. But Ganthet's like, yeah, but that's why we're the Guardians. Like we there's a way to do this. And John, of course, he's not having any of this. And he's trying to convince the Guardians to take a back seat and kind of let John and the Green Lanterns run the Green Lanterns. And they can be there in like
advisory role.
An advisory role, but ultimately they've been doing pretty good without them. No need to rock the boat.
Yeah.
But so Hal and Kyle go to this planet, and it turns out it's Jakul from Action Comics, although it's in the past, and we get to where Zod
It's only just on there. Well, relatively recently.
Yeah, and so, but you find out that this is a system, a planetary system that has two yellow suns, so it's amped up the Kryptonians. So they've been able to basically appear as gods to these more primitive people of Jakul,
Exactly. Yeah.
And they've instilled like this dictatorship.
Yeah.
Where they're mining sunstone.
Right, and we're jumping into this in the middle of the arc here, but something we should mention is Zod has taken the rings off Hal and Kyle, and he is.
Well, yeah. So I
studying
was going to get there. So they show up. They basically tell Zod, "You can't be doing this. We're taking you in. You belong in the Phantom Zone." And they end up fighting. And that's how you find out that the sunstone that they're mining can pierce the constructs.
Yeah.
Of course, that's a problem. I mean, we can't have that. And he ends up taking the rings off of with the help of Eradicator, Kyle, and Hal. But of course, those Green Lanterns don't go down that hard. And Hal's ring he forged out of pure will.
Yeah, as he keeps reminding us.
Yep, because we need that, because that's what Venditti did. He's very proud of it, clearly. And Kyle ends up just getting severely beaten by Ursa, and
yes,
and he's so worse for wear. Like
he is bandaged up, like he is falling apart basically.
And Hal's like, all right, they took your ring, but my ring's different because my ring, like, it's me. He's able to basically call to it, like it's Thor and Mjolnir.
Yeah,
and
it breaks out of the containment field, goes through Eradicator's face, which looks awesome.
Yeah,
and it flies to him.
That does sound pretty good. I'm gonna lie.
Yeah, and it goes to Kyle, and it supercharges Kyle. So now you have like the most hopeful of the Green Lanterns, right? He is the star-eyed artist.
Yeah.
With Hal Jordan's basically testosterone ego,
because obviously the ring is part of Hal. It actually it infuses some of Hal's personality into Kyle. But then it's we have often criticized in this room when we covered this earlier. The Venditti often didn't get Hal, and here he takes those ideas of Hal and turns it up for comedy. So it's perfect fine.
And it paints with the broadest brush.
Yeah. You just have to be super aggressive and ready to go at everything.
Yeah. And so in this issue, Kyle finally gets back to Mogo, and John's still talking with Ganthet and the council, and they're basically like, well, we can't get involved in this,
Yeah, he was punishing the Kryptonian law, not ours.
Yeah, and he's like, well, no, but he broke out of the Phantom Zone. He deserves to be put back into a prison. And basically, Ganthet's like, well, he kind of Yoda's John, and is like, well, you make the decision then. Like, if you think what's right, and John goes and does it anyways in the face of the rest of the Guardians.
Yeah.
But so Kyle comes back, and it turns out his will is exceeding everything, and it's kind of causing chaos all over Mogo. So they put him in a containment field, where now he just becomes like a caricature.
Yes, you can put the fighter pilot in containment. You can't contain the fighter pilot.
Gardner's kind of like, what does that even mean?
No, that's the thing. Kyle says that, and Kyle goes immediately after. He goes, wait, that didn't even make sense. And Kyle, the guy's like, yeah, it's fine. It's just hell. Let the hell happen.
Yeah, and so he's always like, man, Kyle, like, now we go get beers and like you're cool. It has this whole like I like this new you, but with that Guy and Kyle form up the squad to go to Jakul to take to save Hal, because Hal would do the same for them, and you got Space Ape in there. You got the guy who's made of basically fire.
Yeah, you got Kilowog's in there.
Kilowog, because Hal's like one of his good buddies, and he's the one that says he would have done it for them. So yeah, basically this wild bunch of Green Lanterns going to this mining planet, and it feels very much like a Western.
It does, and this is how it ends with them showing up. They kind of take out some of the army. Kyle just rushes in there and overcharges everything. And obviously, Guy's very impressed. He's like, "Hey, this is cool. Keep that up." But then Zod and his family show up, and it's like that's the big cliffhanger. It's like, okay, it's this team of Lanterns versus Zod and his family.
Yep,
that does sound somewhat interesting. I was just thinking about this now, that Venditti at this point must be hitting 70 issues of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Started around 20, 21, 22.
Yeah, because I think like 20 was like the end of Jonesy's run, and then like 21, 22 was the start of his run.
Yeah, so he did about 30 odd issues before.
And didn't he do some like core and stuff as well? He did one of the other side books for a little bit as well.
Did he?
It was for like an arc.
He plotted one of the I think he plotted Core, and someone else wrote it when he first took over.
Because that was the John stuff. That was when John was really coming to his own as the leader. And they did the stuff with the Durlans.
That was all stuff. Yeah,
plotted by Venditti.
Still 70 issues. That's...
Yeah, and so this is probably my favorite stuff he's been doing now. Is I go through these ways where I don't care about it and I lose track, but then Connor will tell me, "Oh, this is great," and I'll go back and get caught up. So this last arc,
it has its moments where it's like, this is fine. There's Venditti doing it's not bad, but it's just kind of average. And then it'll do something like, this is amazing. Like this is like just genuinely like really good Green Lantern stuff that he's nailing
and I've always wanted them to be the space cops and get away kind of from the space opera. And now the last two arcs, they've kind of done that with. In the last arc, they had to go save the Guardians from the controllers.
Yeah.
And so they all laid in there, and that's where we got the whole Four Corpsmen and who's Ric Flair and all that fun stuff in the undercurrent. And now here we have, it's a Western, and they get to be like the new sheriffs or the Texas Rangers coming in to save this mining town. And it's not that space opera-y. The Guardians are there, but you're not getting any of these blue core and yellow core.
The other core have not been mentioned in a long time. Since obviously they were a big part of the early stage of this run with the yellows, but that's gone now. That's all dealt with.
So, and I highly recommend picking up this arc just because, it's nice seeing someone else write Zod, because I've only really seen Jurgens in Rebirth write him. So
this feels very consistent though. Like it feels like the same Zod. It feels like where we left him.
Well, and it's a trip to read this, and you get the future. You get the present here, and then you get the future in action. Yeah. And if that has any bearing, so like if he ends up going, they end up the Lanterns defeat him, and they manage to get him into a science cell, then
it's like, did they change that future there, or does he go back to this planet in the future?
Right. Exactly. So it just adds some more of that headache, but I'm loving what's going on right now. So I realized how much I had missed Green Lanterns jumping back in, because I love the Green Lanterns book that we got right now with Jessica.
It is the Simon and Jessica book, not a Green Lantern.
Exactly, and this is the stuff that I came up on that I really just enjoy, and it felt good. Like I'm reading this, I'm getting caught up on the weekend I was on the show, just going, God damn, I love these characters.
Yeah, and as much as this focuses on the four Earthmen, it feels like a core book, because all the supporting cast of the core are pretty involved throughout the run. Off and on.
From Salak, I forget who that doctor is that they saved. And he's the new, or he or she's the new doctor.
Yeah, who was engaged to Salak but called it off because Salak was too emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's just fun little stuff in there. And then the stuff with the Guardians too. I like that finally they're not just the shadowy board.
They've got a role again, haven't they?
Yeah.